Good morning. Happy Wednesday to you. I'm Amelia Lee here with you on this July 23rd. We are at 6 o'clock this morning, and it is time to take a look at our weather with meteorologist Megan Dusmall today for a look at that forecast. Megan, run us through what's going on in this hot, humid, steamy, all those words kind of day.
Check, 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 and check. Just what you said. That's what the forecast order is for. Hot, steamy. What other words you can describe as a humid, moist day? It's going to be hot. Let's go ahead and start off with that forecast this morning. Temperatures are actually on the cooler side. We're seeing a lot of 60s out across the region, only seeing 70 degrees in Harlan and Somerset, 73 in Monticello. We'll quickly warm up though as we're heading into the afternoon hours to the 90s. Most of the region will see those low 90s today. Humidity will be high, so those feels like temperatures will be in the upper 90s. So stay hydrated. That will be important for the day. We're nice and clear on satellite and radar right now, but we do have very slight chances of a sprinkle as we're heading into those afternoon hours for our southern counties. Here's a look at your next 12 hours. Sunshine to mostly sunny skies. So make sure you're also putting on the SPF and reapplying often. Amelia.
Pike County officials are concerned about finances as the county's flood recovery efforts continue with no state or federal funding coming in. WYMT's Buddy Forbes has more from yesterday's meeting of the Pike County Fiscal Court.
Pike County officials say the flood recovery work has not stopped since the waters rushed through in February, but neither have the expenses that come with putting the county back together.
We've not received a penny from FEMA at this point. We have submitted an urgent request to the state for help with the SAFE funds.
Judge Executive Ray Jones says the public expectation for recovery is unrealistic, saying even 5 months after the flood, the county is not back to business as usual. He says some people do not realize the work that is still being done and how every storm sets it back even more.
That's overtime, that's equipment, that's fuel, that's materials, whether it's rock, whether it's drains. Those things are adding up. And I think we've had 4 major washout events, localized flood events, since the 2025 flood in February.
Or how the county has had to foot the immediate bill for more than $4 million, while FEMA is still documenting the damage.
Very few counties could withstand this type of hit to this point in the process. Some other counties have had to seek a line of credit until their FEMA claims are processed.
During Tuesday's meeting of the Pike County Fiscal Court, Jones said the county is still looking at 2 major bridge repairs that will cost more than $2 million and other undetermined and non-reimbursable expenses from the washouts that have happened since the flood.
We're trying to expedite the processing of those applications for reimbursement, but we think it could take another 6 to 8 weeks before we start seeing any money roll in.
Jones says he is prepared to ask the court to apply for a line of credit during the next fiscal court meeting as a safety measure to avoid financial hardship.
We're not to the point where we need it yet, but we certainly want to, if it takes longer to process the FEMA reimbursement claims, we want to make sure that we can pay our bills and pay our employees while we're waiting on the federal and state reimbursements.
And though he hopes funding will come through before that step is taken, Jones says it is better to have options. In Pike County, Buddy Forbes, WYMT Mountain News.
Jones says the fact that the county has been able to make it this long speaks volumes about where its finances were when the flood hit. But he worries what could happen if the reimbursement money does not come in soon. Well, if you were impacted during the deadly May tornado, you might have more time to apply for FEMA assistance. Kentucky homeowners and renters now have until August 22nd to apply. President Donald Trump also approved funding for both the May tornado and April flooding. The deadline to apply for assistance from April flooding is Friday. You can apply online at disasterassistance.gov. Well, it's been more than 2 months since the deadly southern Kentucky tornado, changing families' lives in the blink of an eye. The rebuilding process for many is well underway. The Wyatts and the Blantons both had their home ripped away. Both families say they're making progress every day. Jerry Blanton says the cost of materials to rebuild is one of the toughest parts.
When this house was built 26 years ago, material was like way down. You know, that 1,300 square foot home was like, you could build a house for $75 a square foot. Now it's $175.
Both the Wyatts and Blantons are rebuilding exactly where their houses once stood. While Jerry said it would have been easier to buy a new house, his neighbor's community is what makes it a home. Governor Andy Beshear will be in Floyd County today, just ahead of the 3rd anniversary of the 2022 flood. He's expected to help break ground on the first homes to be built in the New Hope Estates high ground community in Prestonsburg. He'll also take a walking tour of the Wayland high ground community. Well, a federal funding freeze has impacted some after-school programs throughout the mountains, but the Kaywood-Ledford Boys and Girls Club in Harlan County is back on track for funding for this upcoming year. They received the federal grant that they need to serve the youth in Appalachia. CEO of the club, Katina Haynes, says she's happy to have gained that federal funding back for the year since they rely on it in such a rural area.
If we had the donors and the industry, we wouldn't have to worry about government grants. And so that's been, a big focus of, I think, a lot of people who were looking at funding cuts. They've said, oh, we'll just, pivot this way and you need to talk to your donors. Well, we have some faithful donors, but it's just not what you see in more metropolitan areas.
Haynes says as soon as they heard about the freeze, she and other employees started calling and writing to their lawmakers. She says she was notified by Congressman Hal Rogers' office on Friday that they'll still get their funding. Kentucky Educational Television says it'll be at Fancy Farm next month. This comes after a generous donation. Last week, KET said it would not cover the political gathering this year. The announcement came on the heels of the passage of the federal rescission bill, which reduces funding to public broadcasting. In a statement yesterday, KET Executive Director and CEO Shay Hopkins said, quote, "We're grateful to the Kentucky Chamber, a longtime corporate partner and supporter of KET, for helping us to continue this decades-long tradition of bringing viewers across the state coverage of this iconic event." Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear is making headlines in Vogue magazine. He and his family will be featured in the September issue. These are some screenshots of the photo shoot Vogue posted to their Instagram page Monday. The series of pictures include shots of Governor Beshear, First Lady Brittany Beshear, their kids, and of course their dog Winnie. Governor Beshear has emerged as a potential Democratic presidential nominee in 2028. You can read more about his profile on the magazine's website. House Speaker Mike Johnson is sending lawmakers home early for summer break rather than dealing with a bipartisan push to force a vote on releasing more files on Jeffrey Epstein. It's an issue that's roiled the Trump administration for weeks. His deputy attorney general says he wants to interview Epstein's co-conspirator, Ghislaine Maxwell, currently serving 20 years for conspiring to sexually abuse minors, a plan the president said he was not aware of.
What we refuse to do is participate in another one of the Democrats' political games.
It would behoove the Speaker to bring this to the floor. Just vote this out, give it to the Senate, and let them do their thing.
The president is also putting into focus former President Barack Obama over an intelligence report concerning his administration's investigation into allegations Russia tried to influence the 2016 election.
We're looking at some fog this morning as you're traveling to more of our southern portions, especially as you go into the Williamsburg region. We'll continue to see that fog clearing out as that sun starts to warm the ground just a little bit more. Satellite and radar is nice and clear as we're going through the next couple hours. We will see very slight chances of some sprinkles as we're heading to the afternoon, but for the most part, it is going to be a dry day with mostly sunny skies. Current temperatures are sitting in those 60s, a little bit warmer as you travel towards Heartland, 70 degrees and 73 in Monticello. Forecast highs for the day, well, that will be in the low 90s with feels like temperatures even higher in the upper 90s. Amelia.
Well, thanks so much for joining us on Mountain News this morning at 6:09.